It's been 2 months since we took possession of our 65-acre abandoned property, home to a cordwood house, an old garage, and more overgrowth than we ever knew what to do with. But as we explored and cleared, we started finding clues.
Have you ever felt that strange urge to disappear? Just walk away from your apartment, job, the predictable life, and choose freedom instead? That's exactly what two Canadian women did. Jaz and Crystal, the couple the world now knows as Vanwives, traded comfort for a van, the wild and the unknown. But here's what most people don't know. Behind the dreamy sunsets, viral videos, and picture-perfect cabin life, something much darker was quietly unfolding, and today we're finally talking about it. They were ordinary in many ways, both Canadian, from modest backgrounds and both drawn to nature's simplicity and animals. Before YouTube cameras and brand deals, they were two people searching for something more meaningful than the typical 9-to-5 life. They both loved the outdoors, loved less stuff and more purpose, and eventually they found each other. Though little is publicly known about the specifics of their early childhoods, what shines through is that neither was born into an easily charted path of adventure van life fame. They simply felt a shared restlessness, a whisper that asked, what if we could live differently? When they first met, the connection came through that shared dream, to slow down, travel, explore, and to live with more intention. It wasn't about escaping life, it was about living it more fully. And so they began to plan late nights, saving jars, looking at used vans, sketching layouts, picturing dogs running free, picturing mornings where the door opens to nothing but forest or water or desert. They bought their van in 2018, a used Sprinter they refurbished themselves, built from the ground up for two women and two dogs, Bella and Izzy. In that small vehicle, they saw hope into the unknown. In January 2019, they hit the road. At first, the YouTube channel, Vanwives, was a side project, documenting their travels for friends and family, capturing purely for their own memory. They uploaded their first video, our first video, on van life in 2019. It showed 2 women, 2 dogs, 1 tiny home on wheels, and more courage than certainty. That video set the tone, authenticity over show-off. Their audience slowly grew. People noticed their genuine personalities, the wild, raw landscapes, and the sense that this was real life, the kind of life people both envy and fear. They traveled across North America, wild campsites, off-grid spots, makeshift showers, cooking on 2 burners, waking up to impossible views. They showed breakdowns too, mechanical failures, long drives, cold nights, rainstorms that ruined plans. In an interview, Crystal admitted, tensions can get high, but we make it a priority to have me time. They built, repaired, and learned. They were on the road, but it was beyond just travel. It was self-education, discovery, and survival. They showed the fatigue and the triumph alike. But as their channel grew, so did the vision. What if home didn't have to be mobile forever? What if home could be somewhere grounded, sustainable, slow? In 2021, they purchased a piece of rural land in Canada and began constructing an off-grid cabin from scratch. Logs hauled, snow cleared, solar panels wired, and foundations laid. The wilderness became the front yard. The sound of hammering replaced the sound of engines. In their videos, viewers watched the transformation, from van life to homestead life. This new chapter in evolution was among their most popular because it was a story about building, about roots, and creating a space for community, love, dogs, and for slowing down. But even the most beautiful stories have shadows. Behind the cinematic sunsets and the perfect frames were real risks and real heartbreak. Nearly everything they did was on their own: mechanical repairs, plumbing, and electrical work. They lived in remote places. Uncertainty and vulnerability were constant. The pandemic hit when they were south of the border in 2020, in Guatemala no less. They had to abort their south to Argentina plan and scramble back to Canada in a week, driving nonstop, sleeping at gas stations, setting aside the dream in favor of safety. That moment, when the dream mechanically faltered, borders shut, and everything changed overnight, is the often invisible cost of a life less ordinary. And then came another blow, the quiet but growing toll of exposure. As their audience grew, so did their reach, but so did the risks. In mid-2024, the moment their viewers feared quietly became real. Their remote off-grid cabin's address was leaked online. Strangers showed up. The peaceful cabin they'd poured so much into became a vulnerability. Eventually, they announced they were selling everything. The home they built by hand, dream house of their vision, had become a source of anxiety and fear. So they left it behind. That's the kind of heartbreak no sunset photo posts. The rejection of the dream you built because it no longer serves you, as the price is too high. Still, the partnership remained. Through the ups and downs, they were side by side, partners in life, in love, and in business. They've been proud to be part of the LGBTQ+ community, and their openness has mattered, offering representation, showing audiences that love, in any form, is real, complicated, and beautiful. They use their platform to speak about growth, mental health, and about building life on one's own terms, rather than waiting for terms to be given. Their second channel, their podcasts, the growth beyond just pretty pictures of pretty places, all of it circles back to one question. What does it mean to live, really live? So here they are today, bigger than the van and the cabin, but still exactly who they were when they walked away from routine. Their focus now is a new 65-acre property in Canada. Overgrown trails, old-growth trees, a big pond. A former Russian survival camp, they say. Wild, raw, and full of story. The house they will build is ambitious. Multiple bedrooms, a garage with living quarters, greenhouse, sports and recreation zones, gardens, solar power, and space for family and guests. The van and road might call again, but for now, roots are being laid. And in this space, they hope to merge motion and stillness. One of the darker chapters, their beloved dog Izzy became unwell. In a post they wrote, "This past week, Izzy became lethargic, hyper-reactive, experiencing convulsions, vomiting, and finally unresponsive." When your home is wheels or wilderness, your closest ties are also your biggest responsibilities. The dogs were family, and when they suffer, you suffer too. The health scare for Izzy in the desert, far from easy vet access, added fear, emotional load, and cost. They've said openly that a lot of the success they now have was born from failure, trial, from breakdowns and resets. They have said they feared that van life would become glamorous in a way that hides the struggle, and they didn't want that. They wanted the messy in between, in the scrappy parts, because living a meaningful life is messy, loud, late, and maybe that's why so many people resonated with them, because freedom is rarely clean. In their evolution from van to cabin to 65-acre land, there's a lesson. Sometimes you build your dream only to realize the dream needs rebuilding. Sometimes you leave the comfort zone only to find another kind of comfort. And yes, you can roam with nothing but courage, curiosity, and love. But you also might have to pay the price for that kind of freedom. The stress of living in remote places, cost of constant motion, and the emotional labor of being visible and building a brand tied intimately to your life. They turn their lifestyle into a business. YouTube ad revenue, sponsorships, Patreon, brand collaborations. Their growth into a brand changed things. The audience watches for the scenery and for the people. And once money, audience, expectations enter the equation, even freedom has new constraints. Their story confirms something that many people ignore. The romantic version of van life is appealing, but the real version involves mechanical failures at dawn, loneliness, dog health scares, remote vet calls, injections of fear, decisions to sell everything you built because safety and privacy no longer exist. When the address of your off-grid dream is exposed, strangers show up at your front yard, and the dream becomes a liability they chose to let go, and that takes strength. So next time you scroll through a picture of perfect van life or lush cabin sunset, remember, behind it there are thousands of hours of doubt, dozens of nights of cold, many miles of breakdowns and unknowns. The Vanwives, in a way, earned their dream, and then they redesigned it. That's the most human part of the story. If you wondered what really happened to Jasmine and Crystal behind Vanwives, it's very simple and complex at the same time. They left everything, built something, failed at it, sold it, and are building again, teaching all of us a powerful lesson about bouncing back in life. Let us know your opinions about their story.